Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome, welcome, welcome. For the message, we're going to be talking about right? Look, if you got good parents, if you got a great family, nothing has been toxic or traumatizing about your childhood, then you can click off now. This will not be for you. I clearly understand all families are not toxic, but this channel is for those who do have toxic family members and toxic parents. Let me just say that to start off with, right? Anywho, let's jump right into it. When you come from a toxic background, right? And when we think about our parents, and when you talk about your parent, right? And when you think of the parental figures in your life, they come across as authority figures, right? Which means you are conditioned to bow down. You are conditioned to stay quiet. You are conditioned to submit. You are conditioned to obey, right? Because it's like in your mind, the way you was raised, the way you had to grow up, the things you saw, the things you heard, the things you endured, the treatment that they gave you, right? Made you feel like they was the police. And when you're doing something wrong, the police, what? They can take you to jail, take away your freedom, handcuff you, lock you up, throw away the key. So, you know, I understand that it's not easy for you to confront, right? The parental figures in your life that has hurt you and abused you. That's why you still around the family. That's why you still with your parent, because in your mind, you've been conditioned to believe these things. So you saying, "Oh, I know that's my mom. I just need to overlook it," or "That's my dad," or "How can I go against my parent?" And I'm just gonna just let it go, right? When you tell yourself things like that, you are harming yourself. You are helping your toxic parent cause more damage to you than you've already suffered, right? That you don't even speak, that you don't even bring up, that you don't even talk about, that has never been acknowledged, right? Your emotions ain't never been validated. Your pain ain't never been validated. What you suffered, nobody wants you to bring it up. Nobody wants you to talk about it because it came from your parent. You gotta really, really, really think clearly for yourself, right? For you. Just check it out. Just because it was your parent, parents are not always right. Parents are not always good parents. You know that from the things that you've already had to suffer. And when you get alone and when you be by yourself, you really want to get away. You really want to just move away and break away from all of that. Right? Because not only does toxic dynamic come with the parent, but because your trauma that you suffered came to you from your parents, now your parents got everybody else in the family looking at you and treating you a certain way. So you feel threatened, you feel scared, you feel fearful to stand up for yourself so that you can get healing. But don't nobody want to hear it. Well, look, I get it. Get all of that. I get how you think about your parent and how could you leave your mama and how could you move away and all of these things, right? I get it. But what about you? What about you? Parents are supposed to love their children. Parents are supposed to nurture their children. Parents are supposed to treat you the way you're supposed to be treated and teach you how you supposed to be treated. So if you were treated the way you were treated from your parent, you know what? That's all you gonna get from the people because that's all you know. It's to be treated like a footstool, a doormat. Excuse me. To be breadcrumb, to make you feel like you don't deserve less than somebody that's gonna abuse you. So look, when you start your healing journey and when you start opening up your eyes and when you wake up to what's really going on, then you gotta first be truthful with yourself. You gotta be honest with yourself. You may not be able to talk about what you've been through with them toxic family members because they don't want to hear, right? You may not be able to bring up the things that you suffered or how you feel or how it affected you or how it's still affected you, right? Because it's them. It's always them versus just little old you. So you got to be honest with yourself. Your mama ain't cool. Your grandmama wasn't nice. You might get up and go to church every Sunday and dress down and look good and put on a good front in front of everybody on the outside, but you know how your grandmama treats you behind closed doors. You know the things that you've been through, so you got to be honest with yourself. Talk to yourself. It's about everything that you went through. Look at it for what it is. Dig it up, dig it up, dig it up, pull it out. Right? It's going to be hurtful. Is that easy? No, these things are not easy to do. But guess what? You got to do it for you because if you don't, then you are going to die without ever having the real healing that God wanted you to have and heal in this life and live this life as a healed person, not as a victim. Right? So, one of the ways that you can do that, if you have healed yourself, that should open up your eyes and open up your mind and open up your heart for you to ask some real questions now. Like, wait a minute. Because before you have a child, you don't know the love that a mother has for her baby because you ain't never had no kids. But if you have your first child and you look in that little innocent baby's face and you know that you are now responsible for another human being, there is no way in hell that you would do to your child what your mother or what your parental figure done to you. Start there. Start there. How could you? You would never, right? You could never. You wouldn't even allow anybody else to harm your baby, your child, because that's your baby. It came from you. You responsible. Confirmation. So you have to learn how to look at things for what they really, really are. Stop sugarcoating. You can't sugarcoat things when it comes to you and you. You know, you might have to sugarcoat it around everybody else because they really don't care. But you got to be honest with yourself. How could my mom do me like that? Something's wrong. The things that you endured, the things that you suffered, it's not a normal life, even though you were conditioned and raised and brought up to believe, oh, that's just normal. Everybody go through that. Get over it. Don't talk about it. Leave it alone. Don't dig up dead bones. Don't dig up skeletons out nobody's closet, right? That's how they talk in a toxic family when they don't want to hear about what you've been through. Nobody wants to hear because nobody wants to admit the wrong that they done, right? And nobody wants you to really get healing. So you got to be honest with yourself and tell yourself the truth because you didn't deserve what happened to you. And because you didn't deserve what happened to you, you don't deserve for you to still be surrounded by people that don't love you. You got to break away from that family dynamic. We one for all and all for one and one for all. But when it comes down to the things that you want to heal from, or we ain't all for one and one for all, then you're on your own. You bring it up, then they're going to disown you, right? So what? So what? You cannot worry about the family, what people gonna think, what people gonna say, how people gonna feel, because guess what? They not worried about how you feel and what you think and what you have to say. So why should you care about everybody else? That's putting other people, putting your toxic family members, putting your parents before you put your own self. You was born by yourself, you're gonna die by yourself. Your life is in your hands. You have to take charge of your healing in the direction that you want your life to go right here on earth, right here around. Even though you got toxic family members, you got to be strong enough mentally to see things for what they really are. Because once you see things for what they really are, it helps you to make better decisions. Not for them, not to cater to how they gonna feel, not to cater to how your mama gonna feel, but to you. It's gonna make you feel better about your next step, because your next step is gonna be your best step for you, so that the suffering can stop, so that the dis-ease that you feel can stop, so that the mental confusion about why things happen to you the way they happen to you can stop, so the blaming and pointing the finger at God can stop. Because that's all we do, you know? When your trauma that you suffer comes at you from the hands of your parents, it makes you question God. I'm not saying you don't believe in God, right? I'm not get it right. But it will kind of make you blame God a little bit and pulls you away from running towards God, because you're like, wow, if God was so good, why would he allow my mama to do me like that? If God was so good, why did God allow you to grow up the way you grew up? If God was so good, why did God allow you to suffer so much? Those are the questions that you ask yourself. That's the way you feel when abuse comes at the hand of a parent. And this is not an easy decision to make, but it got to be one that you make for yourself if you're going to start on this self-love discovery journey. And once you become honest with yourself, and when you really think back about the things that you suffered, and you look at your little child or your children, and you know in your heart of hearts, you don't care what you had to go through or what life circumstance or situation you was facing, you would never do your child the way your parents did you, never alone anybody else's child. So you got to be honest. And it's going to hurt. It's going to be painful. It's going to be heavy. But guess what? The more you dig up, the more you pull out, the more you throw away, the lighter you get. The easier it is for you to keep moving forward towards what you want in your life, to the things that you want to have, to the way that you feel, to the way that you feel on the inside. But you won't know how you feel on the inside if you're surrounded by everybody. All the noise, all the fake love, all the fake hugs, all the fake birthday parties, all the fake get togethers, all the fake family reunions. You will never be able to really know who you truly are, being surrounded by people that's drowning you and draining you. They drowning out your pain, drowning out your sorrow, and draining your good energy, your loyalty, your faithfulness, because you've been conditioned to stay quiet, submit, obey. And guess what? When you get honest with yourself and you look at things for what they really are, and you realize that parents are not supposed to do their children the way that you was done. What happened to you was not, it wasn't fair, it wasn't right, right? Not even in God's eyes, right? Then, then, then you get the strength to pull away for your peace, for your sanity, for your clarity, so that your nervous system can relax. You probably don't even know how you really feel with this, you and you, because you ain't never spent enough time by yourself, because they ain't never gave you the time, because they ain't want you to have the time, because they never wanted you to find out who you really are, and for you to heal so that you can have a good life, so that you can be around people that really love you. So when things become lighter, you are able to walk. It's easier to take that step without all that heavy, without all those negative thoughts running out your head, without all the naysayers and people with negative intentions coming at you left and right, left and right. You don't have any of that anymore. And then you know what you do? It pushes you toward God. Because then you find out who God is. That's why it's important to read his word. Not just because God is authority figure and God wants you to sit around and read the Bible. God don't need you to read the Bible for him. It's for you. So that you can understand what you're going through. Everything that's happening right now has already been done. Nothing new is happening under the sun. So when you read some of them stories, there's a story that you can relate to that you went through in that Bible. And I guarantee you at the end of that story, you will find out that God was with that person from beginning to the middle to the end, just like he's with you from the beginning to the middle to the end. Then you get to learn God's character. You start understanding, wait a minute, God is not okay with what happened to you. God is not okay with the way they treated you. God is not okay with the trauma that you suffered. But God has a still, silent, still, quiet, soft voice. God ain't gonna force you to get away from them folk. God ain't gonna force you to walk away from your mama if your eyes is closed and you too blind and you too caught up in your pain and you too conditioned to bow down and submit to them, that you making them your God over God. So you won't be able to hear him. But when you do learn about God and you find out his true character, his true nature, how much he loves you, how much he's here for you, how much he has for you, how he wants to heal you and transform you and restore your youth, restore back your years that you had to suffer, then it's easier for you to go towards God, right? And by going towards God, God is going to, that's the part in the Bible where it says we must go to God and we must be reborn again. We're going to go to Christ as a baby. That's going to be you going to God as a baby. And God will treat you like a baby. He will nurture you. He will feed you. He will hold the bottle until you can hold it for yourself. He will spoon feed you until you can grab the spoon and feed it for yourself. And little by little, day by day, you start to learn what love from a parent really means when you're walking with God, even though you didn't get it from your maternal parent. When you start loving God, because God is going to teach you how a parent is supposed to treat you. During the process of just being you and God, you and you and God, you and you and you and you and God. You know, repetition is the mother of retention, right? So after some patience, after some time. See, we don't know how God operates because we can't see him. So during that process, God is going to transform your heart. He is going to let a surgery take place where he cuts out all the pain, all the trauma, all the confusion, all the drama, all the noise, so that you can have healing, so that you can have peace, so that you can stand strong in who you are, no matter what you've been through, so that you can walk away and walk into the new, being transformed by the renewing of your mind. And then through that process, God is so good. All things work together for the good of those who love the Lord. You start loving God because you start looking around and realizing that you have peace that you never had. That He will give you peace that surpasses all understanding. And you start being comfortable in your own skin. You stop waking up feeling like a victim. Woe is me. This is just my life. This is what I have to go through. And you start loving yourself because you first love God. The same love that you love God with, God's going to transfer because God already loved you. His love is unchanging, right? We know that. But the same love that you give God, God turns around and lets you learn how to love yourself because God is in you. When your healing comes, when your clarity comes. That's when you are no longer ashamed about your past. That's when the wisdom, your sister, understanding, your kinsman comes into your life and you understand that you okay without them people. They never loved you. They was never going to treat you the way that you should be treated because they definitely can't give you what God's giving you. So you definitely ain't going back. You definitely don't feel bad because now you have clarity. Because of the way God, as a parent, as a father, as a wonderful father, treats you every day. That's when your healing comes. That's when the transformation comes. That's when you can love yourself. That's how you change your life. That's how you grow. For you, not to be like anybody else, but to be just like you. To do whatever you want to do. Look however you want to look. Dress however you want to dress. Go wherever you want to go. Live the life that you truly deserve to live, coming from a good parent, a loving parent, kind parent, a nurturing parent, a provider, a protector. And you start realizing that you was in the enemy's camp the whole entire time. And you start feeling better day by day. The longer you stay away, the clearer your vision becomes about what was going on back there and all that confusion, all the drama, all the noise that was disturbing your inner peace, bringing you dis-ease, causing you to have a disease that's unseen on the inside. But you got to know that for yourself. You can't put your mama before you put your healing. You can't put your grandmama before you put your healing. You can't put your toxic family members and what they gonna think about you speaking about your trauma. Okay? You can't put them before you put yourself. This is your life. They can't live your life and you can't live theirs. They can try to run your life. They can try to block you. They can try to stop you. They can try to hold you down by keeping you in place, by submitting, by obeying, staying quiet, bowing down, keeping quiet, going along to get along. We ain't bringing up that old stuff. Oh, they can do it when they have you there holding you down. But see, over here, when you walk with God and your spiritual family and the love that God provides, worry about any of it. You learn that you have peace. You wake up happy every day with with just yourself, who you are. And you realize that the creator didn't make no mistake. And he definitely didn't make no mistakes when he created you. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. That's how you start on this self-love journey. Those are the things that you have to think about when you've suffered abuse from the hands of your parents. Now, don't get it twisted. None of this is easy, right? That's why you got to take it one day at a time. That's why you got to be truthful with yourself because the truth hurts. That's why they say the truth hurts. So the truth is going to hurt you. It's going to bring up some things, but guess what? You need to bring it up so you can get it out and you can move on. Because if you don't, then the way you feel today, every time you go to the gatherings, every time you go to the reunions or whatever be going on, the kickbacks and whatnot, you're going to always have that dis-ease. You're going to always feel like everybody in the room knows something that you don't know. You're going to always feel strange. So you take some time and you be truthful with yourself about what you've been through. Validate yourself. Validate your own emotions. Learn to love yourself. Because ain't nobody gonna come save you. Nobody ain't coming to pick you up by the hand and pull you away. It don't work like that. You gotta do it for yourself. You gotta pick yourself up out that dirt because you gotta want better for yourself. You have to know because God placed something in you to kill you so that you can feel something. That's why you feel like something is off. That's why you feel like something is off when you're around them because it is. It's a disconnection. There's no Wi-Fi connection when you come in the building because you are not like them. Not saying that you better. Ain't nobody's better than nobody, but you are not like them. You are not meant to be around them because they don't mean you good. They have no interest in your healing, in your growth, in you connecting with your higher self, in you being a better version of yourself, in you truly being happy, having a good relationship, having the best job that you could ever possibly have. They not into that. That's why you feel that dis-ease when you're around them. So you got to make the decision for yourself. Your healing, your growth, your transformation, your peace, real love, joy, success, abundance, happiness, it's all over here, all on that side. With God, through God, by the hand of God. So that's how you have to look at it when your mind tell you, well, how you going to walk away from your mama and that's your mother? How could you? That's how. By the truth. The truth will set you free. The truth will break those chains that you've been chained down with. To stay put, stay quiet, and bring it up. Don't talk about it. It never happened, but it happened. Just suffer in silence because that's what you're doing when you don't heal. When you submit, you're suffering in silence daily. And you know what that does? It shows up. When you suffer in silence on the inside, it shows on the outside. And when you walk with God and you release and you grow and you let Him transform you and you heal, it shows up on the outside. So, yeah, y'all know we're not here for a long time. We're here for a good time. I want to remind somebody, put something in your mind to help wake you up, to help pick you up when it's time to make that decision. When you finally see people for who they really are, I'm talking about your people. Whoever harmed you in that toxic family dynamic, your auntie, your mama, your grandmama, your daddy, your stepdaddy, whoever, right? Your cousins. It's all the same. So if anybody have not told you today that they love you, let me be the first to tell you how much I love you. But most importantly, Jesus loves us so much more. Thank you so very much for listening to me. Stay prayed up and have a blessed day.